All right, guys, welcome to Cubs on Tap. We are here to celebrate a Cubs 5-2 win over the Washington Nationals. I'm joined today by newest Cubs on Tap or on Tap Sportsnet contributor, Joey Ricotta. I hope I said that right, Joey. I just know you as Joey, but it's like the first time we've really actually met face to face. So welcome, man. How's it going? How you feeling?
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, you nailed it, Joey Ricotta. So, I'm feeling great. Cubs got a W. Cubs took the series, and happy to finally be on here. I know you and I have talked in the past about doing podcasts together and stuff before, and then now that I'm with On Tap, it's cool to be here. Now we're all kind of working together. So
I love that. Before we get to the game, I love that you brought that up. I was telling Ron the other day, actually, I was like, yeah, me and Joey like DM'd last year because you checked out the other podcast that I do with Tommy and Sean, Sky's Falling, and I was going to have you on the show, but then the pandemic hit and sports were canceled. So it was just like, I don't even know what we would talk to him about. So we were just trying, like last year, we were talking about wild ass shit and I don't know. But yeah, so I love that you brought that up. And that's why I'm so excited that you're part of the On Tap brand now. And that's awesome. And I hope people get to know you a little bit, and the people tuning into the podcast really enjoy what you bring. So cool, Sean from the podcast, he just said facts, and that's literally right about the show that we were doing last year. This guy's fault. It was wild. So anyway, yeah, the Cubs win 5-2, take 3 of 4 from the Nationals. I don't know about you, man, but I'm lit. The sun is out. It's like 80 degrees. It's a little humid, whatever. It's like, it is beautiful out on a Friday afternoon. I go out and inhale at least, 20 more beers because the Cubs won and it's Friday, and I don't have to worry about anything for the next 2 days as far as like, my responsibilities and shit. So it's like, I'm sure you know it, but this vibe is something that just never gets old.
Oh, it doesn't. Anytime you get a Cubs win, you get back-to-back series wins. And this one just feels so much sweeter because you had the boys coming back to town. Obviously, because you went to what, 2 of the games?
I went to 2 of the games. I went to Monday's game, and then I went to the one last night.
So, I mean, this is just, it's great. Seeing the packages that they put up there for Lester and for Schwarber, and just all the good vibes, and to stack W's on top of it. I mean, I wasn't even expecting to be able to watch this game because I thought I had to work my real job. And then getting the text message this morning, hey, we got some extra drivers. You don't need to come in. I'm like, oh, wow, cool. I get to watch the Cubs Nat series finale, and I'm sitting here with my zombie dust, and now I'm talking to you about a win. So it's great, man.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Hashtag crack 'em, by the way. So I guess today's game, I don't know about you. What'd you think about Trevor Williams? I thought Trevor Williams was actually okay today. And I was actually a little annoyed that Ross took him out earlier, outside of the fact. And the only reason I could come up with the fact that he took him out was because Juan Soto was coming up. I think it would have been the 3rd time that he faced him. And the Nationals had a guy on base. I felt like he wanted to get Williams out with some confidence going into his next start, perhaps. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing, but that's how I felt about it. Because I thought after the first inning, he was okay. He was getting through. He got through some innings pretty easily. And, I mean, he gave up that leadoff double in that 4th inning or 5th inning. And, then he got the next 2 outs, and then Ross came and got him. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you obviously tweeted back to me about what I put my tweet when it happened, because I was kind of feeling the same way. I'm like, man, I just want these guys to go deeper into games, and they haven't been. So that's kind of where my frustration came from. But of course, that you nailed it on the head. I mean, it's the matchup there with Soto, and you got the other hard-hitting lefties coming up, Schwarber and I believe Josh Bell too. So Bell was in the lineup today, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Bell was in the lineup. He batted 3rd, I believe, after Soto, and then Schwarber batted 4th.
So and Williams, he traditionally struggles more against lefties as do most right-handed pitchers. But his splits are pretty, they're pretty high up there as far as, he does struggle more against lefties, but he wasn't pitching that bad. I don't think he started out rough, but after he kind of settled down, after that first inning, and Ross, maybe he was a little bit scared just about Soto, especially there, because Soto had some loud contact on that ground ball. I think it was a double play ball to Javi, if I can remember right. But I don't know. Yeah. I get it. You got to go to the lefty there, and obviously Justin Steele came in and he slammed the door right there. So can't really too much, I guess, but
for sure. And I mean, Soto, he hit the homer yesterday. I was there. I watched that ball go into the stands. That was a laser bomb, whatever you want to call it. It was a massive bomb. And his power has been kind of down to start this year. He hits one yesterday. Ross probably thinking, this guy's starting to maybe get it together. The wind was kind of blowing out today at Wrigley. I understand taking out Williams there. I think it's just the way the game is these days. It's not surprising when you see a manager take your starter out after 70 pitches. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then also Williams could have given up a run against Soto, and we'd be sitting here talking about how Williams still sucks. So, I don't know. Of course we need Williams to go deeper. I'm not off the start Keegan Thompson train. I guess I'll pause for another 5 days, I guess, and see what Williams does in his next start. But I guess if there's anything to really be positive about it is just that he was much better than he was whenever he faced Detroit the other day.
Yeah, and it's surprising that he pitches better against a team like the Nationals than he pitched against Detroit. But yeah, that's positive. I was ready to start hammering out that article that I was thinking about, that you mentioned, or I can't remember. I think it was you that you gave me the idea of, keep it Keegan Thompson. Obviously, we've all kind of been thinking, maybe he deserves a shot there in the rotation because he's been lights out in the pen. But
literally lights out. He hasn't given up a run yet.
Yeah, dude, he's been incredible. His stuff just looks great too. It's like,
and I think he throws a little bit harder too. I could be wrong about that, but one of the reasons I was on the Keegan Thompson train to make him a starter was because Williams, he's got great strikeout stuff. He'll rack up strikeouts, but he like we've been talking about, he just doesn't go deep into games. And who knows what would have happened today if Ross would have left him in. But today was like the first start Williams had where I'm like, okay, I'm actually kind of mad that they took him out, outside of a few other starts in April that he had. But, all in all, it kind of reminds me of I think there was a start Zach Davies had where he went 4 innings against the Reds. And ever since then, Zach Davies has been trending up. I know his ERA is under 2 in the month of May. So maybe this is the start of Trevor Williams getting his shit together, because the Cubs need him to get his shit together in terms of longer starts to preserve the bullpen, or else I don't know how many more guys they could just bring up from Iowa and they decide to be good. It's been a blessing in disguise. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about it as much as maybe, Cubs fans, I guess. But, I don't know. I think Trevor Williams today was a pleasant surprise. And also I think it's hopefully a start of good things to come. Now, if he comes out in 5 days and fucking sucks, then what do I fucking know? I don't know. But
and there's no, and you make great points. He obviously has a track record of being this kind of up and down starter. So he'll give you these good starts, and then he'll have those blow up starts. And finding the middle ground there of what you come to terms with as far as a baseball team. He is the definition of a number 5 starter. And so it's we see this guy coming out of the pen in Keegan Thompson, and we're like, man, this guy has upside, and he can really be a number 3 possibly in the rotation. If he's given the reins and he's allowed to go out there and do this stuff. But when you get a good outing like this, or decent outing from Williams, we didn't go that deep, but he pitched okay. It kind of makes you well, maybe we shouldn't pull the plug on Williams yet. And there's also the other factor of possibly you could flip him like a Scott Feldman type of trade at the deadline. And, then you've got the guy there waiting in the wings. You've got Thompson right there, and you've got something of value for him since he's only on a 1-year deal anyways.
Yep.
So
exactly. Yeah. I've been like going back and forth with it too, man. But I always keep coming back to what Jed Hoyer's been saying. It's a transitional year, and it's like, or if it's a transitional year, then we need to find out what these young guys got, man. But I guess maybe we need more time. It is. I mean, it's almost June. It's gonna be June in like a week and a half. So I guess we'll see what happens. But I think even after today, I still think Williams is on a short leash, but I think he definitely earned himself another start. So we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward. I guess I'll mention the bullpen. You mentioned Steele. He went 1 1/3. He had 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, but those 3 strikeouts, he just continues to roll. He ended up coming out of the game after running the base.
Do we freeze up here?
You hear me? You there? Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Anyway, so
did we freeze up a little bit?
I think we did just a little bit. But like I was saying, he had to run the bases because I guess Ross let him bat and he got on. I missed the part of how he even got on base. But anyway, he runs the bases, ends up coming out because of hamstring tightness. It's all really annoying because I don't know about you, but I've been on the bring the DH to the NL train for a while. And B, like Steele's been so good, you don't want him to have to hit the DL or the IL too after Jason Hayward hit it today. There's been kind of the injury bug has been lingering around the Cubs like this entire month, I feel like. So it's like, fuck, man, like how many more can this team take? So I'm hoping everything will be okay. I'm sure we'll find out more in the post game from Ross, which I obviously, since we're doing this right now, I haven't seen it. So if anyone knows, feel free to tell us in the comments. Yeah, man. So like I said, Steele was great. Then Tepera came in, pitched 1 inning, struck out the side. He is lights out right now. He is doing whatever he wants out on the mound, and it's just getting the job done. And then Andrew Chafin came in, got a clean inning. Nico Horner had an insane defensive play, which is becoming so normal these days.
He loves
to get out of it.
He loves saving Chafin too.
Yeah. It's like the second straight game that's Chafin's pitch where Horner basically has saved him, even though there was no one on base in this instance. But yeah, I know what you're saying. And then Kimbrel comes in and again shuts the door, ups the trade stock. 3 strikeouts. He allowed a hit to Starlin Castro, but the bullpen again is by far and away the biggest strength of this team right now, and that's why I'm like nervous about what's going on with Justin Steele, and we'll hope to find out. Scott from Iowa, avid listener, he's in the comments, says lots of power sitting and waiting in Iowa, both arms and bats. I heard the Iowa Cubs won like 18-1 or something like that today, or 11-1 in Iowa today. I saw a highlight. Yeah, I saw a highlight. I think his name is Robert Stock. Struck out a guy throwing 101. I'm like, where's that been my entire life? So, again, AAA. I'm not going to get too excited, but that's something to, I guess, kind of watch.
Yeah, where are these arms coming from?
I know, dude. It has to be just like these guys who, like for instance. It's not a good example. I was thinking about like we've had Max Bain on this podcast. I've had him on Skies Falling, and he signed with the Cubs in January of last year, and was when the Cubs signed him undrafted, he was throwing 94, anywhere between 94 and 96. He's now pumping like 99, 101 in that range, and I don't know what it is. It's just how the whatever these guys are training to do, man. It's insane. It's insane stuff. So maybe the Cubs just have a slew of guys who could just throw super hard like that. And I mean, it's working. It's unfortunate in terms of if you're into offense, but if you're into pitching and defense, it's great.
Hey, you know what? I'm into offense as long as we get it.
Exactly.
if we're shutting them down on that side of things, I'm all for the pitching. So, yeah, man, it's great. I love to see. And you know what? And now Theo Epstein, doesn't look like such a moron when it comes to drafting. They're not drafting pitching, or his ineptness to develop. It sounds like these guys are just maybe late bloomers too. So
oh yeah, and I love that you bring that up, because even if Theo wouldn't have been able to develop any pitching with the Cubs, I mean, he still did enough to earn a lot of people's respect. But exactly. So if Scott, I know Scott from Iowa, I think I saw him on Twitter today. He was actually at the Iowa Cubs game. So I'm going to take what Scott's saying in the comments and just roll with it, believe it. And if Justice Steele misses any time, I mean, hell, they called up a 30-year-old Tommy Nance the other day, and he struck out 3 guys in the bottom of the 9th inning. And he was throwing hard too. So whatever. Next man up.
He's got that the sink on that, like 97 easy, 97 mile per hour with the sink, and then that hammer that he's throwing. I mean, like 30 years old, coming out of like indie ball or whatever.
Yeah, it's insane. Absolutely insane. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I love to see it if it's for the Cubs. So a little offense. Like I said, the Cubs won 5-2.
Oh wait, real quick point. Just to make about the bullpen. Another 4 1/3 scoreless innings pitched.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
1 hit allowed. I mean, like you said, the strength is in the bullpen.
It is, man.
And it's incredible. Kimbrel too. I mean, just another lockdown. What did he strike out 3 and gave up a hit?
Yeah, he gave up the hit to Starlin Castro and struck out 3 guys. Kimbrel, like I kind of said, he is. I don't know what the Cubs are going to do in the next month and a half or whatever, but if they decide to move Kimbrel, they better get the biggest haul ever. I'm talking like Jeff Samardzija for Addison Russell type haul. Like that's the kind of haul I'm looking for if you even consider trading Craig Kimbrel. And if it happens, it'll be interesting to see how the Cubs replace him. But it's hard to replace a guy like Craig Kimbrel when he is like this right now. It's unfortunate we didn't get it for the last 2 years, even though last year was what it was. But, I think a lot of what Craig Kimbrel's success this year is just the fact that he had a full spring training, had a full offseason, not worrying about his contract, all of that stuff. So,
I mean, look at he struggled early on in spring training, and we were all kind of like
freaking out.
Is he reverting to the? Is he going back to like how he was before the last week or two of the month of the last
year? Yep.
And wow, flipped the switch right before the season started, and then just it hasn't looked back. So
and then in the 2 saves that he's blown, you can't even get mad at the guy. I wasn't mad at him for blowing the save against the Tigers when it's in extra innings and we got the stupid runner on second base rule going on, which I don't know how you feel about it. And my opinion about the runner on second base rule is just, if it doesn't benefit you, like if you lose the game, you're gonna hate it. It's like the shift. Like if the shift benefits, you're like, yeah, the shift. But whenever someone hits it away from the shift, or if your team's hitting and you need a big hit in a big spot and you hits it right in the shift, and you're like, fuck the shift. You know what I mean? That's honestly how I feel about the runner on second base rule. It's really exciting when your team wins. Like, I understand a little bit of why MLB is doing it, because the extra innings not only have games finished within an inning or 2, but it's just high anxiety to start each inning. Doesn't matter. And so again, that was the last save he blew, and then the one before that, I think it was a similar type instance as well. So Kimbrel in my eyes hasn't really blown a save. So
I think the one was that a blown save, the one with Muncy, the homer?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it a
I think he just gave up I think the Cubs were actually tied with them at the time, and he gave it up. So I don't even think it was a save situation in that moment. That's been 2 weeks. Feels like a decade ago when that happened.
My memory is completely shot. But I agree with you on the extra. And I don't really count that extra inning blown save madness, because it's like, dude, you give up a hit, he's got a guy on first base.
Right.
It's like him starting off the inning. It's like not coming into a clean inning, and you got a guy on second base it's just a weird situation to come in for a closer that's normally used to. I mean, yeah, sometimes they ask him to get more outs than 3. They're coming in the 8th, but they're usually normally coming in the 9th inning with a clean inning. And,
right.
But the extra inning rule, dude, like why? I don't know. I just can't stand it either way. Like you said, yeah, I love it when the Cubs win, and it's like that. It's just like, man, it just doesn't feel like baseball,
Right. And in a sense, I'm only love it when the Cubs win because the game ends earlier and I don't have to sit there for 15, 16, 17 innings. Right. Some people like doing that, and it's not that I don't like doing it. It's just like, especially if it's happening in a night game, like I don't got time to stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? So, and it's like there are pros to it, and obviously there's a lot of cons to it. But again, Craig Kimbrell, I'm not going to blame him for those freaking blown saves. So he's just been elite, man. And if the Cubs decide to move him, they should, like I said, they should get a haul. So, any more thoughts on the bullpen, man? Or even Williams before we talk a little offense here, because this team was all across the lineup was making it happen today. Yeah, no, let's get into the offense. I think I extended the talk about that we didn't have to do that, but no, you're good. You're good. So I think the guy today for sure was Ian Happ. He had 2 home runs, including a 2-run bomb to give the Cubs the lead in the 3rd inning. And I'm just gonna say, man, if this guy starts hitting like this, or shows signs of how he hit at the beginning of last year, that just brings a different dynamic to this team, because this team's been one of the best offenses in baseball since like mid-April, and Ian Happ really hasn't been a big part of that. And if you start getting that production out of him, this offense is just going to take off, and it might not matter if the Cubs aren't getting the pitching, because they'll just outscore everyone.
Dude, Ian Happ, I mean, okay, so I'm going to take a quick little victory lap here. Especially for the people that were like talking smack about Ian Happ and like, oh, this guy sucks. All he does is strike out. He doesn't put the ball in the play. Listen, his numbers this season, like the expected stuff, the StatCast numbers, all across the board were just insane. Like career highs for him for the most part. Other than, the strikeout rate wasn't good, of course, but his walks were like a career high walk rate, his barrel rate. He was just hitting the ball on the ground, and he was hitting it at people. And it was just like maddening when he would make contact. He'd make good contact just right at somebody. But, dude, since the game that he left, when he hit that homer in the game that he got hurt with the collision with Horner, he's 11 for 28 with 5 bombs and 10 ribbies. Hitting almost 400. I mean, dude's raking right now. He's on fire, man.
It's good to see too, because I was thinking the same thing. It was like he was starting to come out of it in that game against Cincinnati before he had the collision with Horner, and then he goes on the IL, and I'm like, fuck, when he comes back, like, what's he gonna be? And you just said it, man. Like he's been raking. He had an RBI last night, hits 2 home runs today.
Yeah,
and he just brings a different look to a lineup, because one, he's a switch hitter, and the other day he had 3 hits, batting right-handed. So all the people who say he should just hit lefty all the time, they were quieted a little bit. So
he's been hitting bombs right-handed too, opposite field homers. I mean,
I'm just like, you get this type of Ian Happ on a consistent basis going up against any team. Honestly, any team. And then you're getting MVP Chris Bryant. You get your all of consistency Anthony Rizzo as he's starting to heat up. And, Javi and Wilson are going to be there. They're going to do what they do. And then add Ian Happ into that with Nico Horner, who we haven't even mentioned yet, but has just been red hot and just brings a different aspect to the Cubs lineup, as well as just like the best contact hitter on the team outside of Matt Duffy. Like, it honestly, my boy Matt Duffy. It honestly makes me super excited, and I'm telling you, this team could take off. Maybe this is the beginning of this team taking off this week, because they took 2 out of 3 in Detroit, right? And the one game they lost in Detroit, they should have won, and it's like, the offense was good, but you still have your pitching issues and woes and stuff, and you're kind of like, I don't know. I went into this series against the Nationals, was like, I'll be happy if we split. Like, I'd be content with that. We go out, take 3 out of 4, almost swept the series. I mean, they had every chance to win last night. So I don't know. I feel like we're just, we're kind of just building momentum, Going to go face our division rival in that shitty city of St. Louis this weekend, and we'll see what happens. I'm feeling really good about this team right now, and I can't believe it because, like, literally a month ago, I was very down on this team.
Yeah, and we were in a bad predicament, bad situation early on. I mean, this May has been a completely different story with the hitting. I mean, it's full circle. It's like you can't hit anything. You're striking out. There's no contact. Now it's just like, oh, contact. We're getting runs off of like little bloopers. We're hitting bombs. I mean, it's really crazy. Yeah, and you mentioned it. You get Chris Bryant back, and he wasn't even in the lineup today. And
I know. That's why today's win's so huge in my eyes because, like, you didn't have to play your best player. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was kind of mad that they sat him because, like, you want to go out there, put your best guys to go out there and get a series win, and didn't matter. So Ian Happ showed up when the Cubs really needed it today, and I didn't mean to cut you off there, man, but yeah, I was really excited.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I love to see it. It's dude. When you look at it like that, like I was upset too. Like I saw the lineup, and I'm like, Chris Bryant's not in the lineup, and you have a chance to take the series and take 3 or 4. And you put Nick Martini in there. And I was more surprised. I don't know about you, but I didn't look at anything beforehand. So I don't know which one I was more surprised by. Rizzo being in the lineup or Bryant being out of the lineup.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was actually more surprised about Rizzo being in the lineup. Though, I mean, it just seemed like he was headed for an IL stint. Yeah. Turns out he's okay. He had 2 hits today. He should have had 2 RBIs if there weren't pitchers on the base paths whenever he came up to hit and get those 2 hits. But it's a positive sign, man. And it didn't look like he had any pain out there defensively. No, I didn't hear the broadcasters mention it or anything. So I think that's all good. I'm just all he needed was a day off. That's good because I know he's had back issues in the past. So yeah. Like I said, Rizzo had 2 hits. Even Jock Peterson had 2 hits today. He struck out his first 2 at-bats, but he really got it going late in the game. He had an RBI single as well to extend the Cubs' lead. And then go ahead. Sorry, man.
Yeah, Jock staying hot. That was pretty much it. He's just hitting the ball good. We haven't seen the home runs come from him yet, so that just gets me more excited because I'm like that. The power's there, and I feel like we're like waiting for a monsoon to start to come.
Yeah, I feel like he's come like a big I feel like he might hit 10 home runs in the month of June or something. Like it might be something wild like that, But yeah, so like the top of the lineup, the first 4 guys, that 6 hits apiece. But even in the bottom of the lineup, Nick Martini, he was a guy, honestly, going into today's game, I was like, with the matchup with him and Ross, I was like, I think Martini can take one out. And he almost did in his first at-bat, ended up being a sac fly, which is a great at-bat. The fact that he put the ball in play, drove a guy home from third after the first 2 guys, I think it was Bodie and Horner, both got on, I think, is what it was. Yeah. And, Martini gets a sac fly. Next at-bat, gets a walk. Ends up scoring on the Jock Peterson RBI single. Of course, I want Hayward out there in right field for defensive reasons, and hopefully he gets the bat going too. He's like the one guy left on the roster who's not doing anything offensively consistently at least. But hopefully, when Hayward comes off the IL, he can get it going. But for now, given the situation, I'm interested to see what Nick Martini does because he's kind of a guy that he's just kind of being overlooked a lot, I think. And I think he, at least on this team, he has a nice role of just like giving you a professional at bat. Because every at bat that I've seen him, whenever he's coming off the bench, I thought the approach was great, just didn't get any hits. I remember his first at bat with the Cubs this year. First pitch, he swung at it, almost hit it out, would have gone out if the wind wasn't blowing in. That's how much Cubs baseball I watch and how much I remember. I don't know. I'm weird. But I don't know. Again, I'm not saying Nick Martini is going to steal Jason Hayward's job, but I'm just saying I think he's a serviceable depth piece that if injuries keep coming, like at least you're going to get a professional bat out of him. And that was just something that we just really missed last year and why I've just really been on the hype train of all of that this year with like Nico Horner and Matt Duffy and even Eric Sogard. And if you can get those kind of at-bats out of Nick Martini as well, like just, again, it just keeps adding like different dynamics to the lineup to go with your power guys like KB and Rizzo and Baez and Contreras.
Yeah, absolutely, man. These contact guys, something that we're not used to in Chicago, at least lately, the last few years. When you get these guys, and I don't know if Martini will be consistently a contact guy, but he showed the ability to, put some good at bats together. And how would we know that Bryant wouldn't have done something? We were upset about the lineup, but we don't even know if maybe Bryant would have gotten a sac fly in that situation early in the game. And hey, we'll take that. That's a productive at bat. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, to get the production out they got out of Martini today it's huge, because you're not expecting it. You're expecting what you're supposed to get out of the first 6 guys in today's lineup. Jock, Rizzo, Baez, Contreras, all that stuff. But like, when you're getting that from Martini as well, like, that's just spreading positive vibes. It's a good sign for the team moving forward. It takes some pressure off of the stars as well. Still think, we need to get more out of the stars. Like, I've been kind of down on Javi all year. I think he's had a much better May. But he's either hot or cold. I feel like it is what it is. And I don't want to get into a whole conversation about it, but when you get contributions like we did out of Martini today, it's a positive sign. And it's, I hope this momentum just rolls in St. Louis, take 2 or 3 at least this weekend. Hell, sweep those motherfuckers in St. Louis. I hate that city so much.
It's boring.
Yeah, it's boring. So I guess one more thing, PJ Higgins, his parents were there today. Unfortunately, they didn't see their son get a hit. Yeah, and but
what they did?
But he did throw out. I don't remember who was running. I want to say it was Juan Soto, but
I think it was Turner. Was it Turner?
Maybe it was Turner, and Soto was at the plate. I thought it was strike him out, throw him out. It was a strike him out, throw him out play. And I believe I think you're right. I think it was
the first time he was caught stealing too, they said.
Yeah. Right. So if Higgins is going to at least give you that, then I can't complain too much about, the offense, because you're going to get offense out of Contreras, and Higgins isn't going to start every day. I guess he provides a little bit more upside than a guy like Tony Wolters did, because at least you knew who Tony Wolters was. It wasn't anything crazy. PJ Higgins has some time here to maybe figure out a role, I guess. I read a tweet today that said that the Cubs were high on him. I mean, I don't know what that mean by high, but he hasn't impressed too much yet with the bat, but at least defensively he's been okay. So, I think if you got 2 decent defensive catchers like the Cubs do, I can't complain too much. So as long as he's not playing first base for Rizzo, because we need that offense.
Yeah, please don't make that a regular thing. But,
right.
Dude, Higgins, I believe the throw out. I think it was his first. See, I tweeted it, but then my research showed that. But I was like, man, maybe they just didn't update this one. But I thought it was his first thrown out player, which makes sense because he hasn't played much, so if at all. So I think it was his first runner that he threw out. But yeah, I mean, you'll take that. He looked pretty good in spring training too, for what it's worth. And like you said, there's probably more upside than Tony Wolters. So sorry that you had to be the casualty, but we'll see what he does.
Right. Well, man, anything else on this game, man? We can move to tomorrow's game, preview the pitching matchup, and we'll get a Fly W player pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, you pretty much wrapped it all up. Cubs got a W, Cubs got a series win, and feeling good, just keep flying it, hopefully.
Exactly. I'm with you. All right. Well, tomorrow, Friday, the Cubs head into St. Louis. They're currently 3 games back after today. I assume St. Louis has a game tonight. I don't know who. I think they're playing Pittsburgh, right? I don't know if they had an off day today, but if Pittsburgh, if they are, the Cubs will go into St. Louis tomorrow, 3 games back. If they play tonight, then they potentially could be either 3.5 or 2.5 back. If you want to check the schedule, go ahead.
Yeah,
but
they're off today. But yeah.
So
Pirates somebody, I think.
okay.
Doesn't matter. But yeah.
Anyway, it looks like the Cardinals are off, so that means the Cubs are heading in St. Louis 3 games back, and they're in second place in the NL Central right now. So this is a big early season series. The Cubs playing the Cardinals for the first time this season. Kyle Hendricks going up against Carlos Martinez. And I don't know about you, man. Kyle Hendricks was great in his last start. Shoved 8 innings down the Detroit Tigers' throats. It was probably his best start of the year. So he's looking to build on that. I know a lot of people have been kind of like, I don't want to say hating on Kyle Hendricks, but just saying that like he's not an ace type guy, even though I disagree with that. He's just been kind of inconsistent so far this year. I think he's going to figure it out. How do you feel about this pitching matchup?
Well, I love Kyle Hendricks, first and foremost. I completely agree with you. Hendricks is that dude. The professor, he can throw as slow as he wants to and still get weak contact. And that game against the Pirates, he didn't allow a lot of hard contact. There was like none in that first inning too, a lot of the damage that was done. So he's basically had 3 straight good starts. I mean, not like on paper when you look at obviously the Pirates game. Yeah, that's a tough one because it looks terrible and he got beat up on paper, but he really they got lucky. He got BABIP to death in that game. So
yeah,
I love it. I think the Cardinals aren't an easy lineup to navigate, but he's had a lot of success against them. And obviously Arenado and Dylan Carlson, that'll be a little bit of a new challenge to their lineup, but
for sure.
I like it.
He faced Dylan Carlson last year, but I know Dylan Carlson, his start of his career was a little tough, but he has been very good this year, obviously. And Nolan Arenado's putting up normal numbers like he usually does. Unfortunately, I could go on a whole rant about how dumb the Rockies were for giving him up and also giving St. Louis $50 million. Yeah, but right. So I guess I'm reading on MLB.com right now in this little preview. They said the Hendricks has a 2.70 ERA with 17 strikeouts against 2 walks in 20 innings in his last 3 outings. So he's trending up, man. He's trending up. On the other side, Martinez, he's returning from the injured list, which I didn't know he was even on the injured list, but he's returning from. He had a right ankle sprain, it looks like. Let's see. He hasn't faced the Cubs as a starter since 2019, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, man. I think as far as like if you want to call tomorrow a must win in terms of like winning the series, I would say so, because you got your guy out there. You got your ace out there, and he's not going up against Jack Flaherty. He's going up against Carlos Martinez, who, I don't know. I mean, he's got good stuff, but I don't think Carlos Martinez has panned out to be the ace that the Cardinals had hoped maybe, 3 or 4 years ago. So I think tomorrow
really held him back. I think he wants to be a starter still, but he's probably best served now in this stage of his career and being a bullpen guy. And
he was their closer.
Get to. For sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the Cubs have in the past, and he's also, handled the Cubs well too. So I despite all that, I still think if the Cubs are going to win this series, they need to win tomorrow because Kyle Hendricks is on the mound. And I'm looking at the Cardinals. Nolan Arenado has 2 home runs against him. But Nolan Arenado has home runs against a lot of guys, so whatever. Matt Carpenter also has 1 against him, but Matt Carpenter is hitting .098 against Kyle Hendricks in his career. Let's see, Paul Goldschmidt, he's batting .370 in 27 at bats against him. That cuck Yadier Molina, he's .290 and 31 at bats against him. So, the normal guys, they're big bats. They have some decent numbers against them. But other than that, they don't have any power numbers against them. So if he can just, keep guys off base and, give up a hit here or there, who knows? Maybe they'll, sneak one out. On the other side, Martinez, as far as Cubs players who have done well against him, I mean, Rizzo has 2 homers against him. He's batting .242 and 33 at bats against him. Ian Happ, 2 home runs against him, batting .313 against Carlos Martinez. And then Chris Bryant has a homer, and so does Wilson Contreras. Contreras batting .389 against Carlos Martinez. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in this lineup tomorrow, my friend. So any more thoughts on this before I get a fly W player from you?
No, I mean, you pretty much said everything. They've seen him a lot. Some guys have had some good success against him. And I think, you got the right guys that have been hot lately, like Ian Happ, that have had success against him. So that just bodes well for the Cubs,
Right. So I'll, on this podcast, it's the running joke. I always roll with Andrew Chafin as my fly to W player. But if I had to take a position player, I'll take Ian Happ, because he's hitting .313 against Carlos Martinez, and he has 2 home runs against him. He had 2 home runs today. See if he keeps it going tomorrow. Would love to see it. I remember his first home run of his career was in St. Louis. So yeah, bring those vibes back, I guess. And let's get a W tomorrow, man. Who you got for me?
You kind of stole my guy, but
sorry.
No, it's good. I say that I agree with you. I think he's going to stay hot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say right now, Jock Peterson hits a bomb. The home runs are coming. Young Jock in the club going crazy. Jock's hitting one out, and let's go. Let's get a W. Let's get this first one out of the way.
Well, I don't know if you're a gambling man as much as me, but I'll ride with you tomorrow. I'll bet Jock Peterson to hit a home run tomorrow, because I would love to see Jock Peterson bat drop in the city of St. Louis and trigger all the old farts who are all about the unwritten rules, who love and support Tony La Russa more than anyone else on this planet. I would love to see Jock Peterson just bat flip the shit out of an at bat after him mashing one 480 feet into the bleachers in St. Louis. I would love nothing more, my friend.
That would be fantastic. I'll jump in on that with you. I'll put a little more.
All right. We're riding. I'm ready.
Let's hope they got the odds at like plus 500 or something. I just want to see those majestic poses that Peterson gives. We saw it all spring training, and the bat flip will be incredible. And La Russa's not there, so sorry, Cardinals fans. We're gonna stomp on you tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I don't care if he's there or not. I'm just looking for any reason to just make fun of that entire story that's been talked about all week. All right. Well, everyone, this is the Cubs official podcast of the On Tap Sportsnet Network. Ron, if you're still watching in the stream, I hope you're grading this very well. You can follow us on Twitter at Cubbies on Tap. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap, and you can follow Joey at The Riot 326. I love that handle, by the way, man.
I couldn't change it. I made an email a long time ago, and I just couldn't change it. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So yeah, like I said, we're the official Cubs podcast of the On Tap Sportsnet Network. I also forgot to mention we are on Instagram as well at Cubbies on Tap. If you're not following us, go follow us over there. We're posting stuff all the time, and trying to really build the brand over there on Instagram. So yeah, man, I got nothing else. Anything else from you before we get out of here?
No, man, this was a good I appreciate you having me on, and good first show. I feel like for hopefully everybody else liked listening and watching, or will like listening, and look forward to doing it again soon. And by the way, we are 1-0 when I joined the post game. Just throwing that out.
I love it. Me and you are 1-0 when we do the post game. So let's keep track of this. We'll see how we do. And the next time we do it, I think Joe Maris is going to join me tomorrow. And I believe me and him are 0-1. I can't remember what game we did, but I remember bitching a lot whenever me and him did the post game. So I'll have to go back and look that one up. But anyway, man, as always, good talking to you. Glad we finally got to do this. I'm looking forward to talking to you down the road. Let's get out of here the only way we know how. Let's go Cubs.
Go Cubs.